You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who always looks ahead, even when parallel parking, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. We are broadcasting from 5 to 8 tonight, our new time slot, an extra hour, and it is great to be with you. And I hope you're having a great week as we get ever closer to Thanksgiving, which is just around the corner. So much to be thankful for this holiday season, and that will be showcased in my Nite Lite window fun photo tonight that I will be posting probably during the next break. Thank you all for being with me. Aaron Zommers is in tonight for the kid Conrad Krieger, who is on vacation in Florida, probably golfing. Might have the whole family around the radio listening to Nite Lite if
I hope so.
If he's a pal. That is the voice of Aaron Zommers. And my current guest is Stuart J. Wattles, who is the news director from Southeast Wisconsin. He has agreed to stay with us a little bit into this hour so we can have a discussion on the Edmund Fitzgerald and Gordon Lightfoot. At 6:35, Lance Barber from Young Sheldon and The Comeback and the Godfather of Green Bay will be here to discuss our really cool screening that we're having next week in Madison on December 4th. More details on that to come this hour as well. And then the hilariously funny stand-up comedian and writer Courtney Cronin-Dold will be here at 7:20 in the third hour. Zommers, we got some people texting in for the tickets. Do you have the information you need?
Yeah. Well, it's all done automatically. So
Okay.
you can still text in for the whole rest of the show. So next week, Thursday, December 4th at 7 p.m., doors open at 6, movie starts at 7. We're going to be screening Pete's movie here in Madison, The Godfather of Green Bay, at Atwood Music Hall. If you can go, and you can get 3 other friends, family members, perhaps strangers, to go with you, you can text in the word actor for your chance to win 4 tickets. Actor, ACTOR.
Very well done, my friend. So yeah, we've got a good amount of text so far, but you still have a shot. So please text in, and I would love to see you on the 4th. What else do we cover? Oh, I talked about how I can't ever click out of the ads because I can't find the X. Horrible.
You also talked about Zommers hadn't seen Dumb and Dumber.
That's
yes.
correct.
Thank you, Stuart.
That needs to be repeated. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I don't want to be one of those guys because I can't stand those guys like, you never saw that. Like you're lesser of a person or something, right? But I in this case, Zommers, it might be true. You might want to check it out.
I know. I acknowledge that. I own that. There are some things I haven't seen that I really should.
Hey, me too.
You want to see it though, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes. Yes. And I did get that at least.
All right. So to me, and people have fought me on this. I think that is a near perfect movie. The writing is flawless. And the way here's my theory on this story. When Jim Carrey is daydreaming that he's charming and he's a really dumb guy, he's daydreaming about being charming the way only a idiot's capacity would be for being charming, like lighting his own farts on fire, throwing popcorn in his face. He's not daydreaming out of his capabilities, I guess. And that's a testament to
the writing of the character, as that character is just, it's perfect. It's knowing what this guy was about. It's like it had to be based off of somebody.
So great. It's truly one of my favorite movies. That is the voice of Stuart J. Wattles. Do you have what are you going to do this Thanksgiving, Stu?
Oh, eat some turkey. Actually, the in-laws make some ham too. I hope they make a ham. They better make a ham. But there's cheesy broccoli casserole. There's some mashed potatoes and gravy. So that's the in-laws tomorrow, and then we'll meet up with my family on Friday.
Is it a plus or a negative that you live close enough to have 2 Thanksgivings? Because I remember when my wife and I would always go to Marinette, and we try to cram everything in. And there were times I almost thought, I wish we lived far away so we could do our own thing. But as fun as it is.
Yeah, it's a convenient thing having it. We usually do it again back-to-back days. Thursday there's everybody watches football, so that's on in the background. And then Friday, everybody's looking around like, what's going on, everybody? Force a conversate.
All right. So before we get to Gordon Lightfoot and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, I promise we'll get there. I thought of you when I clipped this earlier, and it was this is off Wise Brother Media. Do these celebrities give you the ick? And I'm just going to name a celebrity, Stu, and you tell me if that celebrity gives you the ick. Okay. Katy Perry.
Ick.
Oh, okay. Chris Pratt.
No ick.
Okay. Jared Leto.
Oh, ick.
Double ick.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
I don't know enough about them to have
Okay.
an ick or a not ick. I'm sure they're nice folks, maybe.
So far, I'm a Chris Pratt ick, a Jared Leto ick, and to Ryan Reynolds and Lively. What about you, Zommers? You got an opinion here?
I think Katy Perry, I'm not, but maybe I just haven't seen enough. I don't know. Chris Pratt, I am, because, come on, they don't need to make him the lead voice actor in every single kids movie. Come on, Mario didn't need to be Chris Pratt. Shut up. Stop it. Just let someone else have the role. Jared Leto, also ick.
For a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, it's more complicated. Like, I hate Blake Lively's character in Gossip Girl. Will love to hate her. Serena Vanderwoodson. She never closes her mouth.
My God, I almost didn't ask you, and now I'm thrilled I did. It sounded like you did homework, like for an exam, Zommers, with these answers. That's awesome. Taylor Swift.
Not ick. She's all right.
I like Taylor.
I find myself when I'm thinking about this, well, who do I really don't like? And I'm comparing them, and it's just there's other folks
right.
That you really knew. Like
great point. Great point. Justin Timberlake.
He's indifferent. Again, a lot of these
okay.
I don't care.
I'm right there with you on Justin Timberlake. Really no opinion. Alec Baldwin.
I would love to be a strong ick on that one. I would love to be, but I can't. Like he's too good. Like his work on Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock, it's too much.
I'm with you. I'm a half.
Too much to overcome. Shooting some lady in the face. It's just too much to overcome, Pete.
So there is an ick factor.
Right.
Drake.
I don't know enough about him to have an ick or not. I know people don't like him. I know he's the butt of a lot of jokes. And I know once we get back to our Lightfoot conversation, we can bring Drake back into it. Because at one point, they were neighbors.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they lived close to each other. I think they hung out.
Hilarious. What?
Yeah, in this documentary I told you about, Lightfoot's talking about Drake.
No kidding. Okay.
He's a fan, likes his music.
Where are you at with this, Zommers?
Drake does seem to have a bad habit of texting young girls below the age of 18.
He's
not necessarily taking things to a place that is illegal, but you shouldn't have to question that, especially when you're a celebrity.
Maybe we should watch our words then if it's not illegal, Zommers. We should dial it back and use it. Let me tell you about the word allegedly. Allegedly, you toss in there a little bit more and you'll be all right.
We have a newsman here to clarify. Okay. Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm an ick.
Yeah. It's a hard ick.
What's the company called? A Goop or something like that?
Yeah, it's Goop.
Nasty.
She captured the essence of her private parts and tried to sell it thinking it was that pretty. So,
but on the other hand, you know what? What about all the people buying that stuff? Ick.
Yeah, that's ick. So the same people buying Sydney Sweeney's soap. So there you go. And then this is funny. Dan Marcus printed this up for me, and he said I left you a surprise in there, and I forgot what he had said. And then it says Pete Schwaba, and then the quote next to it is "Shut up, Conrad." I don't know what Dan was going for with it, but I'm like, how did this get into Wise Brother? And then I remember Dan was playing a joke on me. All right, my guest is Stuart J. Wattles, as promised. Stuart, you didn't discover Gordon Lightfoot, but the Edmund Fitzgerald in some of his music, right, Stu?
Well, the anniversary came and it was playing like it always does every year this time of year. And then you start thinking about it, and then you think, well, this guy had a big career. What kind of madman is writing a song about a shipwreck and then has the gall to release it to the general public, and then it becomes a hit? So that got me curious about how did that whole thing happen? And he read a Newsweek article about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. First couple lines, he didn't steal them, but he used them as inspiration. So this Newsweek article, maybe like 2 paragraphs long, the song ends up being like 3 times as long as the article he based it on. It's just very strange how it all came about, and it got me interested in like this guy. So then you start watching live video of him, and he's got a weird affect when he sings. No, it's like there's the extra S, and it might be because he's a professional. Like he was trained to hit the S in vibrato, and it's just, again, a very strange situation with this whole song and how it came about.
And I don't know if
he was already a big star at the time.
Yeah, correct. And he had written a lot of hits for Peter, Paul, and Mary. And
Bob Dylan sang songs.
Yeah, and it could be part of his Canadian dealio working its way in there. But I agree, but I think that works for him as a singer. And you're right. You sent me information earlier. The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, when it came out, made it to number 2 on the Billboard chart.
It's almost 7 minutes long.
It's not a radio-friendly song. And then the other bit of information you shared, I'll let you break that to our listeners because you're the reporter, is even cooler. It made it even higher on the charts.
Yeah, it popped up. Where was this Parade article? Yeah, nearly a half a century after its first release, it claimed a #1 spot on Billboard. Topped the rock digital song sales chart for the week ending November 13th. Also charting, If You Could Read My Mind and Sundown. So it's just not limited to that one song. And again, I've been going through this for the past couple of weeks. My wife really thinks I have a problem with Lightfoot because all I'm talking about is Lightfoot, quoting Lightfoot lyrics. And then I read this about everybody else doing the same thing. So it's like, all right, a little reassuring, telling my wife, you're the one that's on the outs. You don't get it.
No, I went down that rabbit hole years and years ago with Gordon Lightfoot. I grew up, that's all my aunts and uncles listened to. It was Jim Croce, Lightfoot, some John Prine, all that stuff. And I fell in love with his music. I think he's one of the best songwriters. One of my favorite songs of his is Early Morning Rain, which Peter, Paul, and Mary did beautifully, but I like his version even better. In fact, there's a line in the song that says "Out on Runway." It's just about a guy trying to get home.
Runway number 9.
Big 707 set to go. And when I heard runway number 9, sometimes I'd be on a plane and they'd come over and they'd say, we'll be landing at runway 12. And I would turn to the person next to me and go, oh God, I hate runway 12. And they don't know me, like, what's the story? What's going on? It's not my favorite runway. But people, you have a laugh.
Runways. Yeah.
Right. I have my favorites. But you shared a couple tunes with me. Zommers, let's play. What do you want to, let's hear just a little bit.
I don't know. You played If You Could Read My Mind earlier. It's kind of a downer though, but the lyrics on that one, it just, you go through it. And it's like, who is this guy writing this stuff? And it reads like a poem. And there's times where, again, I shout out like a paperback novel, like an old time movie. But yeah, that's a great song. Sundown is so good. The other thing about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, so the song that you love, that everybody hears all the time, that was the first take. They played through it like kind of a little bit, noodling around a little bit. And I guess, like, according to the stories, Gordon didn't want to even perform it. He didn't want to put it on the album, but they had some extra time in the studio at the end of the week. He had booked the time and they said, hey, Gord, let's run through it. So they ran through it a couple of times. The first take they ended up using as the one they distributed. They did 3 or 4 more, but Gord said, yeah, the first one, that's it. We're doing it.
That's very cool.
That is
crazy.
Awesome.
And it's even more amazing. Put this song on and put the headphones on.
Yeah.
Crank it up.
I agree. All right. I want to talk to you about If You Could Read My Mind. We'll do that. We'll have a couple more minutes with Stuart after this very short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite.
In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Keep going.
Legend lives on from the Chippewa down of the big lake they called Gitchagumi.
The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead. When
That
the
is
skies of
great.
November turn
Welcome back to
gloomy.
Nite Lite. I'm Pete Schwaba. That is a really cool version of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Kind of a lounge. That's like Bill Murray would do that on Saturday Night Live.
It's Nick Cheese, right?
Yes.
Richard Cheese? Yeah.
I had never heard of that before today, and I sent it to Zomer. I had never heard that before. It's so great.
Richard Cheese.
Have you heard any of it? Yeah, go ahead, Zomers.
He has a lot of stuff like that where he takes songs that are very, I'll say, about delicate subjects or very angry songs or very sad songs. And then he'll perform them like that, such as Rape Me by Nirvana. And he starts it off by saying, this one's for the ladies. And it's just
kind of like the Dan Band.
Right.
That's like, my name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
But it's like top-notch swing professionals. They're like really real musicians, and it's a great interpretation.
Oh, it's so great. Stuart Wattles is here just for a couple more minutes. I promise we're going to let him get on with his evening here. Stuart, Terry Barr, our pal, said, hey, where did Gordon Lightfoot write it? This is a stream comment she wrote in. She said, people have often claimed Madison, but I haven't found that info. Then she says, and after seeing the documentary, the same one you saw, I assume, she says, the song takes on a new meaning. Stuart, I am re-obsessed.
Yeah, he wrote it in the Toronto apartment. That's what I kept coming across when I was looking it up and researching it.
I want to say this is one. If you could read my mind, I'll send you this link later. There's a version of him doing that song when he's like, I think he was 73 at the time. And you can look, his fingers don't quite get the chords as much. He has a little bit of I think he had Parkinson's. He has long hair. His face looks so weathered and it's so beautiful. Like he's just this guy, this troubadour, he's the guy he's always sang about. And he did that version of that song, If You Could Read My Mind, and it's so beautiful. I'll send that to you. But he said he changed the lyric because of his daughter.
Yeah.
The lyric used to be the feeling that you lack. He changed that because his daughter said, Dad, that sounds kind of sexist. So he changed it and he said the feeling that we lack. I thought that was really cool about a guy just evolving,
Yeah, and to take that in and just, I think about the daughter who's processing this all. Like the daughter hears the song and listens to it all, and then is comfortable enough to say, "Hey, Dad, what about this?" Not
Absolutely.
just to shy away. So there's this extremely emotional song that kind of gets taken to another level when you hear a little nugget like that. He also changed some words in the wreck. Some of the families were upset about some of the hatches weren't closed properly, and he changed a word regarding that. Also, it turned from a musty old hall into a rustic old hall because the people at the Detroit Maritime Museum said, "Hey, it's not so musty."
Oh wow!
And he said,
That's
"Yeah,
cool."
Sure. Yeah.
Was that in the documentary or just some research you did?
It might have been just in some research, but it's even.
I love that.
The other thing about that Detroit thing is that there just happened to be a reporter for the LA Times walking by that church in Detroit at that moment when the bells are ringing because of that tragedy. That guy goes and writes an article. It gets back and published somewhere. Gordon Lightfoot reads that to add to his story. So just because some writer happened to be walking by this church and it's ringing 29 times, that gets back to the song. And it's just a lot of happenstance. Makes it very interesting.
Very interesting. And maybe the answer to this based on the research you did, but years and years ago, I remember hearing that that Lake Superior, these sailors in the Great Lakes sometimes have to be more skilled than the ocean because the Great Lakes, apparently what happened, or one theory is that the Edmund Fitzgerald went up so high on a wave, it came down and cracked in two on the lake bed, on the floor of the lake. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's Fox 6 in Milwaukee did for this anniversary, put out a documentary. So that was kind of just more of the shipwreck end of things. But that's one of the things that's postulated. There's also a theory that they ran aground on some shoals that were around one of the islands there, that the ship that was accompanying it didn't hit it, but they thought that this one, they might have hit this, which caused the leak.
If you do want to watch that documentary that Stuart mentioned, the one on Fox 6, it is available on YouTube for free.
Yeah. I think it's just called Gales of November. I think it's what they called it.
That's awesome. Stuart, thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with me long enough to get to this topic. I had a lot I wanted to talk to you about, so I really appreciate your time tonight. And
thanks for having me on. I'm glad you're on in drive time.
Yeah. Have a great Thanksgiving, buddy, and hi to the family, and keep up the great work here at Civic Media. It's outstanding.
Thanks, bud. Take care. See you, Zombers.
You got it.
Adios.
Oh, that's Stuart J. Wattles. Check out his work if you're in Southeast Wisconsin on WRJN or here in Northeast Wisconsin. You can hear him on WGBW doing the news and breaking all the stories that we need to know about. Great stuff. Lance Barber will be here in just a few minutes. He is famously, he played young Sheldon's dad. What a great role. So he was also on The Comeback. He's done a Christopher Guest movie, and he was in The Godfather of Green Bay, which we'll play next week. And we'll talk about his time on the set. We had a great time. He still calls me Balls. I've just learned to accept it. But we'll have Lance on in just a few minutes. And then Courtney Cronin-Dold will be here at 7:20. Let's bang out a couple of these stream comments, Somers. What do you say? We got Little Irv says, love scene. I don't know what he's talking about there.
That must be another Steve
I bet
Martin
it
movie?
might be from The Jerk, because he learned what his special purpose was.
Gotcha.
The first time. I think that's what Little Irv is talking about. Sydney Politics says, every time you single out people in the question of the day, I think they passed away. Sorry, Sydney. No, we do that all the time. If someone's got a big enough body of work where we can just make the question about them and what is your favorite work of theirs, that's kind of what we do. Sydney says, thank goodness I was wrong. Cheaper by the dozen. Great one. Sydney Politics says, you're right, Dave. All right, we are coming right back with Lance Barber. After the news, it's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. Great to have you with me on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Carefree highway, seen better days, the morning after blue, from my head down to my shoe. Carefree highway, me slip away on you.
Welcome back. It is a beautiful, balmy, rainy night here in the state of Wisconsin as we broadcast statewide from gorgeous downtown Green Bay. Thanksgiving right around the corner, folks. Life is good, and it is great to have you here as we talk about the things in life that make us happy, like movies, TV, comedy, music, Stuart J. Wattles' love of Gordon Lightfoot. And now we turn our attention to a good friend of mine who I just think the world of this guy. He is one of our favorites here. He was one of the stars of Young Sheldon, The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow, and of course, The Godfather of Green Bay, Mr. Lance Barber. Hey, buddy.
Hi, everybody. Gobble, gobble.
Good. It's good to hear your voice,
Hi,
Lance.
Pete.
How are you tonight?
Nice to hear you, too. I'm well. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. I understand you're taking the tribe cross country. Is this a Griswold family type trip, or what's happening?
Yeah, this is our annual nightmare. It is really playing out as it should be. You know, somebody's got to get sick, and then the weather has to be really horrendous as this storm approaches across the southwest portion of the Great Lakes area. So we'll see how we fare. But
all right.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. We're lucky to be home with family every year, and we still get to do that and always have. Yeah.
Good, sweet old Michigan. That's awesome, buddy. It's great to hear your voice. Hey, Lance, do you have a favorite Steve Martin movie?
I really love The Man with Two Brains.
Oh, dude, that was my runner-up.
Was that your runner-up?
It was. Well, I went with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I'm going to be honest with you. I barely remember The Man with Two Brains. That was a joke, thinking it might get a laugh from you. I barely remember that movie. I remember it, but it's definitely not my favorite. I mean, I think I love Planes, Trains. Everybody does, but the performance there, the whole movie as a whole, is just so funny and moving in the whole thing. And I love seeing Steve Martin play an uptight guy, you know, as opposed to a wild and crazy guy. So
absolutely,
he's good. Yeah.
Great answer, buddy. So let's jump in. I think I gave you some details. We're having a screening of The Godfather of Green Bay a week from Thanksgiving, December 4th at the Atwood Music Hall, this brand new, beautiful facility in Madison. It's for part of the proceeds go to the Dane County Humane Society, and it was a coworker's idea. And I said, sure, let's do it. So that's why I wanted to have you on. I just wanted to kind of jump back and take you down memory lane a little bit and, talk for a few minutes about The Godfather of Green Bay, as well as a few other things you have going on. So it's great to have you here.
Nice to be here, and I'm glad that you're using that wonderful movie for such good things. So
yeah,
I wish I could be. If I was still in the Great Lakes next week, I'd come join you and watch.
Well, it's funny you say that because remember, I was a guest on this show, Director's Cut, which I ended up taking over the hosting gig when the other host stepped down. You drove up, I think, from Chicago, and were on the show with me, and we got to walk around State Street a little bit. So I have great memories of you hanging out in Madison with me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was my first time hanging out in Madison, so I have a strong and positive memory of that time as well. That was a lot of fun. I watched that recently. It's online somewhere, or I have it, but I still have that shirt. And
oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, but I remember that fondly as well. Yeah.
So what are your overall thoughts? I remember when we cast you in that movie. It was so much fun, and we had looked at all these we probably read 50 actors for that role of Kenny Caruso, and you came in and we had a meeting that night, and I thought you were my favorite by far, and the other two producers jumped in and said you were on another level. And you were so good, Lance. And it was so much fun having you on the set. You were as much fun off camera as you were on, and you just brought great energy. So to this day, I'm thankful we found you.
Well, I'm just a really terrific human being. There's I
wouldn't go that far.
There's something about me, is what they say. There's something about him. And I can't put my finger on it. It doesn't have a name, perhaps, but I'm just exceptional in regards to anyone else in the human race. So you lucked out getting me, kid.
I wouldn't have phrased it like that, but I agree.
Oh, no? Oh, thank you.
That was very open, but absolutely right.
I appreciate the heapings on. I remember the audition well because I remember you, and I remember you being familiar, right? And I have a couple of other friends who I'm tight with who I met in L.A., but they were actually Midwestern guys, and the culture and the sensibilities and the sense of humor were familiar to me. And it felt, there was just that natural thing. We hit it off because. And of course, knowing what the subject matter was with comedy at the time of the movie, and it having something to do with the Great Lakes Midwest area where we're both from, was appealing. And so I remember being so excited to get that job, just because it was a job, and I had nothing. I had nothing at the time, and then it was a job that was going to take me home, so to speak, and we went home, and again to that familiarity, going back to where we shot in Marinette and up in that whole area was again just so familiar, so comfortable in regards to the culture, the people, and then to be with that wacky group of folks was a ball. I recently one of the memories was being in the parking lot and seeing the Northern Lights for the first time one evening. Do you recall this?
Yeah, I do. That was one of the few things I was part of because typically I was so tired I went back to my parents' place where I was staying and crashed. But that night I missed out on a lot of fun. But that night I was there, and that was spectacular.
Yeah, that was a really cool memory. We all just gathered and quietly watched in the parking lot of the bar that we shot in. And this summer, I took my kids up over. We had a family reunion in northern Wisconsin, and we drove up over the UP and went through that area. And so I had a lot of nostalgia. And tried to show them. We actually went through there, and I couldn't find the bar. But is it still
burned
there?
down.
Trade winds?
It
burned down.
Yeah, it was very mysterious, the amount of bars in the Marinette-Menominee area that are subject to fire when business starts to slow down. I can't explain it, but yeah, that one bit the dust,
when the owners
unfortunately.
are close to retirement. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's such great stuff. Thank you for saying all that because it kind of is bringing me down memory lane too. And I loved, one of the coolest things that I knew we cast the right guy because, that was my first big role like that. And it was great having you there to not only kind of carry me through the movie, but also to say off screen, people are like, "Oh, you guys go way back, huh?" And I was like, "No, we just met. Like we cast Lance. We were not friends. We just found Lance through the casting process." So I felt like we had made a really good choice when people said that kind of stuff because I thought we had good chemistry, which was fun.
Yeah, I agree. People said the same to me. Yes, and it was that familiarity thing. I think we made each other laugh. Yeah.
Absolutely. My guest is Lance Barber. He is one of the stars of, yes, The Godfather of Green Bay, but also a young Sheldon, where he played George Cooper, a young Sheldon's father. And you can look for Lance on the reboot of The Comeback. Lance, I've got a question here from one of the cast members of The Godfather of Green Bay, Mike Desitel. Says, questions for Lance. Any chance you'll make an appearance in George and Mandy's First Marriage? Would you be up for a sequel to The Godfather of Green Bay? I think you're one of the all-time great TV dads. Can you share the story of how you appeared at your funeral in young Sheldon? You could do that, Lance, if you're willing.
I mean, Mike Desitel, just loaded. Just that one's, how much time do we have?
We'd have to make this a mini series. Why don't you pick the question you want to answer? The George and Mandy's First Marriage or the sequel of The Godfather of Green Bay?
I already did a Georgie and Mandy thing in the first season. It's probably the only one I'll do. And they invited me back for a dream sequence, which I thought was, for the most part, touching way to revisit George. Otherwise, it feels shark jumpy and unnecessary. So I was happy to do that. And that'll probably be that. And I would love to do where are they now of the cast of characters from Godfather of Green Bay is what I've been dying to do.
That is not happening, by the way, but obviously you'd be the first guy.
Especially right now. I mean, like the comeback, it was many years in the making, the sequel. So I don't see why not, Pete. I think you should get on it. And
let me see what I can do.
I think all of us that were on it could use the work. So let's get to it.
I don't know about that. Dude, you said something so funny. Oh, go ahead, Lance. Sorry.
No, I don't remember what I was saying. Go ahead.
Mike Siegel, a friend of ours, and one of my best friends, did a behind-the-scenes look at The Godfather of Green Bay. It's out there on YouTube. I think you could just Google behind-the-scenes Godfather of Green Bay. It's a 20-minute YouTube video where he interviewed Tony Goldwyn and Lauren Holly and Eric Price and Steve Seagren and you said, he said, "What do you think of Pete's directing abilities?" And you said, "I think Pete's got a very bright future." Not in directing, of course, but it was just a beautiful moment and played into that thing where all we did was break each other up. It was so much fun. And I'm indebted to Mike for making that video because it was great. But were you amazed at, honestly, now, I haven't been on a ton of movie sets, Lance, but the amount of people, the amount of comedians we had between you, Lennon, Eric Price, Steve Seager, Mike Siegel, Mike Toomey, Jimmy Pardo, Rob Martin, all these guys, I've never been around that much funny. And to this day, I still haven't. Now, you've been in some really big projects. You could probably talk differently to that, but we had a really talented group, didn't we?
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was literally a laugh riot, and it was different than you might find in a club or whatever. But we were all there together doing this thing, and it was just destined to be fun, right?
Yeah.
And in that with that setting and with that company that you just listed was just I smile at the memory of it. I smile and laugh at a lot of things that we won't share on this radio show, of things that were indelible in my mind, of making me laugh till I cried, and hard not to in that company. So, yeah, I mean, it sets in such a great place in my, especially being so young in my career. It was just the perfect job with the perfect people. It really was. It was so much fun. And I don't imagine, for myriad reasons, that you just some of it had to do with youth and all of the other things of it being kind of a let's get the gang together to do a show in the barn feel. You know what I mean? Of being an independent thing. And
right.
and I don't know if I'll be a part of something that was that kind of fun again. It was the perfect storm for that kind of fun. Yeah.
It absolutely was. And I want to share, Tom Lennon was on the show last night talking about the screening next week. And I pointed out a scene that he had kind of forgotten about. It was he and Tracy Thorpe in a booth at closing time. And he asked if he He asked if he could touch her boobs, and she said no. And then she looked at her watch a minute later. Like, the scene plays on beautifully. But we have another. That booth was so special because you and me and Steve Seeger and Lauren Holly, probably Lennon and Tracy Thorpe were in that booth, and Eric Price came walking over. His character name was Rat Boy, but I don't think we ever said that during the movie. But you knew it, and he's shaking his butt. Yeah. And you had probably just had a shot, and you said, "Hey, Rat," and you're laughing before you could even get the line out. It was such a beautiful moment of the hysterics we were in. My guest is Lance Barber. We're going to do a really short break, and then we'll keep Lance just for a couple more minutes. He's taking the tribe cross country, or at least through Michigan, but he's here on Nite Lite tonight, and we'll be right back with a couple more minutes with Lance Barber on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
What I say now, what I say one time, the harder they come, harder they'll fall, one and all. Ooh, the harder they come, the harder they'll fall, one and all.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
We've been running away from something we both know. We've long run out of things to say, and
All right,
I think
welcome back.
I better go.
I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. That is Jim Croce. My current guest, Lance Barber, and I have a, would you call it a man crush, Lance, in the most innocent way possible on Jim Croce?
Oh no, it's more than that. But you can, you say what you have to. But I'm in love with it.
Lance digs him in the big way. Yeah, we both do. It was fun. I remember you played your guitar during a break, and you played that song, and that's always stayed with me. Just a great memory from the set. But I also tried to get Kurt Newman of the Bodines to come to Madison, who they did such a great job with the soundtrack, and Kurt wrote that score. But he was touring and all that, so I thought my second vote would be if we had the budget, I would get Lance Barber there to play the guitar and warm people up for the audience, because that was a really fun memory. Not even
and
joking.
I would do it, but you don't have the budget, so
I don't have the budget.
Go any further with it.
I'll give you airfare and a per diem to get you to Madison to play 3 songs. Lance Barber is here from Young Sheldon and the comeback. Lance, tell us about the comeback. There's a reboot, I guess?
That's none of your business. It's a third season of the comeback, and I have a little bit to do with it. I was on the first 2 seasons, and it's a span of 20 years for 3 seasons of a show. It's got a really neat, I think, place in TV history. It was a fun show for me to be a part of, and I'm proud to get back and be a part of the third one in a small way. But they finished shooting, and I think it comes out next year sometime in the spring. So I'm really excited about it, just because of the legacy of the show, and I enjoyed that character a lot. So.
It's a great show. Definitely check out the show and check out Lance's work in it. Lance, Lauren Holly is going to be on the show next week. Do you have a message I could relate to Lauren, other than say hi?
Tell her, hey, balls.
Hey, she got in on that. She called herself Balls 3.
Yeah, she did. 3.
Yeah. Which sounds strange, but she. And by the way, Tom Lennon was on last night, and when he heard we played your tag coming back from a break, you said you're listening to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaballs. And when Tom heard that, he wanted to recut his, so he said Schwaballs too, which is apparently the new way to pronounce my last name, which is fine with me.
That's amazing.
Now, my question is, you have said that, or it has been said by a listener, that you must have a wet mouth to correctly pronounce Schwaba. But what about Schwaballs?
Schwaballs, you don't have to wet your lips before you say it.
No.
Even when
no. You don't have to wet your lips before you say it, but they'll be wet after. So
classic Barber. Dude, this was
Barber.
fun. Thank you for taking the time, Lance. Get back to your family. Have a great Thanksgiving. I miss you, pal, and I love you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and Lauren Holly and everybody else. And always good to talk to you, Pete. And I'll talk to you soon.
Buddy. You got it. All right, Lance Barber, everybody. Check out his work on The Comeback, on Young Sheldon, and you could see his work next Thursday night, December 4th, at the Atwood Music Hall. He is part of the cast of The Godfather of Green Bay and an integral part. Very funny, and just a huge fan. So great to talk to Lance. Courtney Cronin-Dole, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up at 7:20. Very funny comedian and writer. I had the pleasure of working with Courtney on Sports Soup on the writing staff, and just love her. So she's great. We're going to read some text. How are we doing on time, Aaron? Can I get
3 minutes
text in here? I feel like are we way behind
on text? I don't believe so.
Okay, good.
We've got a couple.
All right. Craig Knitt on the stream says, I love Steve Martin. His comedies are classic. The Jerk, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Three Amigos, Roxanne. But my favorite is more of a drama, Parenthood. That film brings me to tears. Well done, Craig. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Great to hear from you, Craig. Craig had a great showing of his film Daniel Needs to Leave in Waiwiga last week, or 2 weeks ago now. Great fun. A lot of fun, and his film crushed. Terry Ryan in the 414 says, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yes, Terry, I'm totally with you. In fact, that's probably my second favorite Steve Martin movie. Absolutely love Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine. It might be Steve Martin's funniest performance because, like Lance said, Steve Martin is like, plays uptight really well, but man, he plays just a goofball in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and he's great. Jim from Brookfield in the 262 says, good evening, Pete. Father of the Bride is my favorite Steve Martin movie. It has a good storyline with lots of humor. As a father of two daughters, I can relate to it. Well, that's why we love movies, right, Jim? That's outstanding. Thank you, buddy, for the text. Appreciate that. Brett from Brown Deer says, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is his best, but if I had to pick another, I would choose Sergeant Bilko. I've never seen Sergeant Bilko. Sommers, that's my Dumb and Dumber.
Is it? I feel like it's not quite as...
probably not.
Not as many people have seen that as Dumb and Dumber.
You're probably right about that. No, Dumb and Dumber crushed at the box office. 1994, baby. John Murray from Madison in the 608 says, The Jerk was my fave Steve Martin flick. Remember his dog... we can't say his dog's name on TV. Let's call it, or on the radio, let's call him Craphead, for lack of a better, I think you guys can figure out what Steve Martin's dog. Yeah, but The Jerk was great. That was like one of those movies I saw. I was probably like in 7th grade or whatever. And I was like, man, I don't know if I should be watching this. Like, there's a lot of like sex stuff, but it was very funny.
Yeah, I saw Parenthood fairly young, and there are also moments in that one that are not suitable for children.
In Parenthood?
I don't remember what they were, but I remember my mom being like, let's not watch this anymore.
Oh, no kidding. John continues and says, my God, Planes, Trains is a close second. I fell in love with Steve's album first. What a great entertainer. Totally agree, John Murray from Madison. We are coming right back. The keyword is actor, ACTOR. If you want to win free tickets to the Godfather of Green Bay screening next Thursday night in Madison, we're coming right back. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. Act 3 is next.
If that's the way that you want it, well, that's the way I want it more. Cause there's one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning. But every one less set of footsteps on your floor in the morning.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.